We're on. Okay, Dana, I think that's good.
All righty, y'all. We're here. Dana McNeill and my sister, Diane Key. Woo woo.
Diane.
We were on the phone, really, you think, the other day, and something got said. I don't remember where it came out of. And you said, slow and steady wins the race. And I said, oh, that is good for us to do a video on, because that is so right. So consistency is super key to success in anything. And so I know, Diane, that's been kind of on your thoughts for a couple of days now. It's just, we take something very simplistic and we can really dig deep in it,
Because we're just like that. That's how we roll.
Because we're
deep. We are so deep.
So deep. All right. So, Diane, you said you had something to share about consistency. We'll start there.
Well, last night I was awake during the night. It seems like every time we do a video, I've been awake.
You're awake a lot during the night. Yes,
I am. So I was up and I got my Bible out and I got my, just time with the Lord in at 3 a.m. But I was thinking about our video today and the fact that you were saying a habit, like being consistent, it makes you that's what makes a habit, is when you're consistently doing something. So I was wondering, because we've kind of touched on this before, but how many days in a row do you need to do something for it to become a habit? And what I did is I Googled it, of course, because Google has all the answers.
Well, you would think.
Yeah. But I Googled it and it said, according to a scientific study, that 66 days in a row
which is approximately 2 months.
Right. That will create a habit. Yep. So anyway, consistency, like you said earlier, steady, slow and steady, or, wins the race. And I think I said this to you earlier in a phone conversation, that it doesn't mean that you have to be the smartest. It doesn't mean that you have to be the fastest, of course. But as long as you stay steady at something, you will succeed. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. So I love that we don't have to be smart.
Exactly. But let
me just tell you, being consistent takes emotional intelligence. Because what really brought it up, we were talking about a situation where someone is very like squirrel.
Yeah.
And jumps from one shiny object to another shiny object to another, just depending on what looks appealing that day, rather than just taking something that will work and just doing it over and over and over, even when you don't maybe seem to be having miraculous results right off the bat. Most things don't ever happen that way. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're building a business, if you're losing weight, if you're trying to get well, it's a gradual process, and it does take that consistency and that patience and that tenacity. I have a blog on my website that says, I don't remember the title now, something about good health requires tenacity. And the same concept, you have to be tenacious and just kind of dig in your heels, make a decision.
Yes.
Making a decision is hard.
We need to be a little stubborn. Really, stubbornness is not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it isn't. And I am one of the most stubborn. But one of the things that, I think that runs in our family, honestly. We're all very stubborn creatures.
Yeah.
Our mama and daddy both were.
Yes.
We all are. And so, but here's the thing. We can have those types of characteristics, and it can be very negative or very positive. Just always depends on how we put it to use.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And as a matter of fact, just about everything, if there's a good, there's a bad way as well, that it can be taken for the good or used for the good or used for bad. Any gift or any kind of thing that we have really can be that way.
It's funny because as you're saying that, I am recalling John and I, when we first started dating, I mean, way back 30 plus years ago, and we would talk on the phone. You know, the girls were little and I was in an apartment and he was up the street in an apartment and he was in another city in a house for a while. But anyway, we were on the phone a lot together, and we would just talk and have these very deep intellectual conversations. And we don't do that so much anymore sometimes. But anyway, I remember us talking about something, and I made the statement that even too much of a good thing can be bad.
Yes.
And he disagreed with me. He said, well, how can that be? If it's good, how can too much good be bad? And so that took us into a whole other. So Diane, this getting deep has gone way back. You can probably recall conversations you've had with, you know, friends, family, and that sort of thing too, where you take something so like a simple concept and you just dig. And that's never left me, that conversation. I can still remember I was laying in my living room floor talking on the phone. Probably had a cord attached to it, one of those little squiggly ones.
A long cord.
Way back.
Well, so how did that conversation?
I don't know. I don't know how it ever ended, but we talked. I mean, he kind of, you know, John takes his stand, I take mine.
Yeah.
But I think he's probably seen it over the years how that can be the case, because it's true. If I said it, it's true.
Well, you think about, Dana, listen, let me just say this. I'll just use this as an example for that. And I'm sure this is not what y'all were talking about, but even like a healthy food, you take a healthy food, it is very good for you. But if you eat too much of it, you're going to be bloated. You're going to be gassy. You're going to have trouble.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, everything taken to an extreme can be not good.
Well, and I think that's what we were talking about is extremism.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember what brought up that conversation or why I'm talking about it again now. But it just kind of went in my head when you said that too much of a good thing can be bad. But when you have a habit, I have people a lot say that I'm going to stop. And just on Monday night, I was having a conversation with someone. And this person says, I'm going to start doing this and this and this.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to stop. She was saying, I'm going to stop doing this and this and this. And I said, well, what are you going to replace it with? And she said, I don't know. And I said, well, you got to replace it. When you get rid of one bad habit, then you've got to replace it with a good habit, or you're going to probably continue with the habit. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, let me just say this. And I because years ago when my kids were young, I would get up in the morning and of course get them breakfast, do all their stuff. But the first thing I would want to do is watch, and this kind of dates me a little bit, but watch Regis and Kathy Lee. That was my habit every morning.
For those of you younger generation, that would be Kelly and Ryan.
Yes. Yes.
From a long way.
But I loved it. I loved it. And I just felt like I had to have that in the morning to get my day started. And now it's like I get up a lot earlier than I did then, even though I had children then and I don't now, or in the house, I don't.
And does that show even still come on? I don't even turn on my TV.
I don't know. My TV never comes on except YouTube. So I don't know. But I will but now I have the habit of, and I don't really know when it even started. I got on a Bible app and I do a Bible devotional every morning. So I'll go in the kitchen, get my coffee, and go to the living room and get my phone out and do my Bible app devotional. That is just every morning And the Bible app will tell you a streak, like you've had, 237 days of a streak of this. So it's, that's a good habit, but you're right. And I don't know when it happened that I replaced TV, morning talk TV, with having my devotional like that. But somewhere along the line, I made the decision to do that and stuck with that. So it's changed. Now I feel like if I don't do that, if I miss that for some reason, my day's not right.
Yeah.
So.
And you don't want to see that you've broken your streak.
Right. Yeah,
and that's accountability. That app is very smart, and then it builds in accountability.
Yeah.
So it makes you want to not mess up.
Yeah.
Not skip it. And then, we were talking about being very regimented, and you were saying you're very regimented. And I am, but in a different kind of way. So let's talk about that a minute. How, and you've kind of alluded to that a little bit, in that you get up, make your coffee, do your Bible app. Does it ever hinder you from being open to something else?
If I have to do something else, I can do it. But like I said, it just kind of messes my day up. First of all, let me just say this. I am such a routine kind of person, and I think I have been for many years. But nowadays, I'm so routine, Dana, and probably you are too, but at a different pace, at a different time period, because you stay up late, I go to bed early, that type of thing. But I get up in the morning, go to the bathroom, and then, I do my stuff in the bathroom, and then I come immediately back to my bed and make my bed. And then I go while my coffee is making, I open all my blinds. It's just like even if I'm not feeling so great, I still do those things. So it's just habit. It's like, that's just what you do. So whatever habit you create, make sure it's a good habit. So it's not stuck in there as a bad habit. Like, I was thinking about this last night, because I was thinking about bad habits, and I don't want to talk about like smoking and that kind of thing, because we know that's an addiction, a habit. We pick it up, and then you're kind of, it's not good. But anyway, we won't talk about that. But I was thinking about like some habits that we might have, even like, like if you're eating a meal, you eat a meal and then you just want something sweet at the end of that meal. You just want a bite of something sweet. Have you ever heard people?
I want that. I want another plate full.
Well, and you and I have talked about that. We would rather eat food than have stuff. But I know my husband, for instance, and a lot of people, not just him, but he'll eat a full plate of food, and then he has to have an ice cream sandwich, or, I don't want to throw him under the bus too bad, but I'm just saying
that's a common habit.
Yes.
And it's just kind of a cultural thing.
Yeah.
That we've been brought up, a lot of people, in that after you eat a meal, you can have a sweet or a dessert.
Yeah.
We didn't do that. We never had dessert except for on Sunday.
Yeah. Or if we had company.
Which was usually on Sunday.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we always had chocolate pie or banana pudding or something on Sunday. Mama would make it on Saturday, and we had to look at it till Sunday. We couldn't touch it.
Couldn't touch it.
Yeah. So
I did get to eat on the beaters,
Yeah. And I got the bowl. You got the beaters and I got the bowl.
Yes.
I had something not on my nose, on my mind. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
I was going to say, sometimes people are wanting to make a change. Okay. And so they want to be healthier. They want to convert their home to a non-toxic environment. They want to reduce inflammation. They want to feel better, have more energy, whatever. They want to become more spiritually awakened, whatever the situation is. And whatever the change is, it takes change. Okay. It's not like, well, I'm just going to work it into my regular day. Something's got to go to sometimes to make those changes. Like, this is the hardest part for people to commit to. We were talking about commitment and how some people just cannot seem to commit to starting a new habit and something that they're going to be held accountable to. Why is that so hard for us? Not me and you. We don't have trouble with that.
Listen, I will say this about myself. I do not make commitment very quickly. Like, I do not commit to something quickly until I know I can be committed to it. And because, you know, some people commit to everything or sign up for everything, but then they're really not committed. And I feel like you really have to be, you need to not jump too quickly at saying, I will do this or I will do that, but really think about it and then commit. And when you're committed, be committed.
Well, how do you know when you're ready to be committed?
That word, Dana, we were looking for yesterday was compulsive.
Yes.
And that fits this right here, because I feel like I am not a compulsive person at all, because I think through things pretty well. And I feel like we got that from our daddy.
I think the Lord I am very, I take commitment very seriously.
Yeah.
But the Lord really showed me something a couple of years ago that has stuck with me. And that is, Dana, you need to be more open. And so in order to be more open, I've had to really, you know, think about what that means. And in the situation, it was, I needed at that moment to be open to doing something different than I had done before.
Yeah.
And that wasn't setting well with me, because I had done this for a long time. And so when I had to be open to change, to do something different, it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It brought on a lot of emotional baggage, a lot of, not baggage, but just a lot of emotions. And it was hard to do that. But I will tell you, when you feel like God speaks something to you, something changes. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, God, I'm open. And for a while I was like, whatever came my way. You know, if somebody said, Dana, can you take a meal to somebody? Or I would see somebody had just gotten home from the hospital, or I would, whatever. I would look for needs, and I would look for opportunities, and I would look for places to serve, and I would look for things, you know, income opportunity, and I would look for people that might need something I have to offer, whatever it is. I was just like, my radar was out. I was open.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that during that period of time, I probably experienced more spiritual growth, emotional growth, growth in my confidence. I mean, just so much growth. And just from being open.
Is that why you asked me if I was open? A while ago, you asked me if I get knocked, if my routine gets kind of moved, or something interrupts that routine.
Well, I just find that I one of the reasons where I'm not more regimented in that, like when I get up in the morning, yes, I'll come down the stairs, I turn off the porch lights, I open the blinds, I go to the kitchen, I make my coffee. John is usually still sitting in the back room because he hasn't come in and gone to bed. And I sit back there with him, and I put Gracie outside and let Gracie back in. I give Gracie her food, you know, and then John goes up, and then I pull out my reading, and, you know, I have those things in the morning. So I tend to not ever schedule anything in the morning until like 10 o'clock or later, usually, because I want to be relaxed and I want to just be able to do that. if I do, it really does, like you say, it just throws everything off.
Yeah.
And then, but, shouldn't we be open to doing different things sometimes? Or should we say, nope, I can't. I'm doing this. This is what I do. This is what I've always done, which is the right way.
I think it kind of depends on what that interruption is. Sometimes you have an emergency situation where you need to just stop everything and go, or, throw on some clothes and just go. But sometimes the interruption is not a good thing. So I just think that you have to be really open to what the Holy Spirit is leading you to do. But not be so stuck in the mud in that routine that you can't move.
I know some stuck in the mud peoples.
You talking about me?
No, I'm just teasing.
My clothes are.
But I mean, don't you know some people that are like, they are not budging. They are not doing. They are not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Well, now listen, I can be that way I know our older sister has said that about me a long time ago, and it has stuck with me that she said this, because she said, if Diane doesn't want to do something, you cannot make Diane do it. Now that's what I mean about being stubborn.
Well, I think that's how we all are. I don't think that is just true to you. I think that is true to her and to me and really honestly, to most people. Something somebody said the other day is about making somebody do something. People will not. Oh, goodness. It was good. I heard it. I don't remember it. You ever do that?
Yes, that's when you need to take a note. Take a note, jot it down. I have to stop a lot of times and just grab my notebook, because I think I'm not going to remember this.
When you're talking it, oh goodness, how did it go? It was so profound. But anyway, there we go. Can't teach y'all nothing today because listen, we don't know.
Sometimes we don't know, but you know what? It helps us to get on here, and at least I hope we're at least getting you to think about how consistent am I, or how committed am I once I commit to something. Once I sign on the dotted line, am I committed?
Let's talk about your health for just a minute. And what are some things you're committed to every day for your health?
Well, first of all, water. I really do try to get the water in my body. Secondly, my vitamins. That's one of my things on my routine that I do. And I do try to juice quite a bit. I've been kind of skipping every other day juicing. And but for a while there, I was juicing every morning, and that was kind of getting my day started too. And I've kind of gotten slack on that, so I'm doing it every other day. But anyway, so yeah, I try to really put good, organic, wholesome, whole foods in my body every day. Now I'm telling you, I don't do it right all the time, for sure. But I do try to put good nutrients in my body.
What do you think is the difference? And you said I used to juice every day. Now maybe I'm doing every other day. What is the difference in one habit over another? You get on your Bible app every day. You said 200 and something times you hadn't missed.
Yeah.
What is the difference? Why is it that some habits don't stick and some really do?
Well, okay. For the juicing thing, it takes a little more effort than just sitting in a chair and opening an app and reading. So you actually have to get everything out and wash everything and cut everything up and get out the juicer and then clean up everything, all that. And sometimes it just feels easier to have some boiled eggs. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's really I don't know, Dana, because like I said, there for a long time I was doing it every single day, and I still buy all the stuff to juice every day. So
I heard a little emotion coming into that, like, I don't want to do this today.
yeah.
And I think really, I know all of y'all know that I do health coaching, and really what I do is probably more of an accountability coach and a resource coach. But that is one of the things I feel like I work with people the most on, is dealing with when you just don't feel like it. Because that's when we change a habit.
Well, like I said earlier, it seems like, and it seems like I'll have like 2 nights of good sleep and then 1 night of not, where I don't hardly sleep at all, maybe 3 hours. Those seem like the days. That morning is when I don't want to do all that. So it's just that you're not quite up to par. But really, those are the days you really need it more. So if you get that in your head, that when I don't feel like it is really when I need to push through and do it.
Well, and that really is part of, the conversation as I'm checking in with clients and they're checking back in with me and we're back and forth, is that is really a very challenging statement and or question, is, don't you need it more when you don't feel like it?
Yeah.
And that's when it requires pushing a little bit harder.
Well, and Dana, talking about pushing through goes back to our statement in the beginning. Slow and steady wins the race.
Yep.
So a slow and steady racer or runner, he's pushing through, or she's pushing through. And it's not always easy. I remember I had a pastor one time that he ran every day, but he decided to do a marathon, and he had never done that. And he said, there comes a time, and I forgot the mile that he said, but he said, there comes a time when you just hit a brick wall. He said, you feel like you cannot put another foot in front of the other. But if you just get past that time, that wall, and you just continually because it's mind over matter, basically. Mm-hmm. You are telling your mind, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Like the little train. What was it? The little engine that could?
I think I can. I think I can.
And that is really, we have to talk to ourselves and say, we can do this. We are going to do this.
Well, and something physiological happens too. You get a new burst of adrenaline.
Yeah.
So just when you think you can't, there's a split-second decision that, yes, I can. And yes, I'm going to. And I'm keeping on. And I'm not going to look left or right. And when you do that, it's like, bam, something else pushes in. And it's that new adrenaline shot. It's that cyclical thing. And I know this to be true in all the years that I've worked in business and building business and working with people, is that, you get started with something, you're excited.
Yeah.
You're like, yes, this is new. This is fun. And you're thinking of all the outcome and all the great. And then you get started and it's like the mundane hits.
Yeah.
Because it's slow and steady and consistent. Like, this isn't fun.
Yeah.
Maybe the results aren't happening as quickly as you first imagined. And then it's like, and then you get to a place where you got to make a decision. And it's a critical decision-making time that, do I quit? Do I keep going? And it's that tenacious person that says, you know what? I'm keeping on. It's that runner that says, I'm pushing through this. And then there are others that are like, nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm stopping. I'm tired.
They throw mama from the train.
Yes. And so you keep going. And then guess what? With that new burst, there's a new energy and a new excitement. It's very cyclical. And then you're working the way up. So if you kind of look at it like a clock, you start at the top, exciting, you get down, decision at the bottom. Then you work back up, and then, by the time you get up here, you're tired again. You're like, another decision. So you make a decision at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Ba-bam, ba-bam, ba-bam.
Yeah. I was thinking about, there was a time when I went to the Y every day. I would go, I don't know if I went every day. It seems like I went 3 days a week. But anyway, I would go. And it was so much fun when I first started going, because I went and bought all the little outfits to wear. All the little, yoga pants and the little exercise tops, and nothing like, it wasn't real cute, but I thought it was at the time. And shoes, you get shoes to go walking in, and you're gearing up for that. And then that wears off. So, the mundane, like you said, it takes a lot of just tenacity, sticking with it,
and support. So, we have to have our cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And we have to have our balcony people. We have to have that cheering us on and that support. And because we all have friends that we can call and say, you know what, I'm so tired of doing this. And they're like, well, why don't you just quit? Hadn't you ever had a friend like that?
Most people are those kind of people.
But I love to have people in my corner that I can call and say that to. And they're like, you can't quit.
Yeah, that's what hey, Dana, when you say that to me, I go, you can't quit. Why not? No, I hear you. And we also need to be balcony people for other people.
Yeah.
So
I think we think sometimes to be that balcony person is just to say, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do. But really, what we're called to do is to steer one another on to make each other stronger. And that is really to be insightful enough to see what's best for her or what's best for him. And then you've got those people that they're going to fix everybody and everything, and I can tend to be like that sometimes. And that's probably one of my biggest flaws and one of my biggest strengths. So one of those things where I can use it for good or bad.
Yeah.
But I don't want anybody to fix me. I want somebody to listen to me and be my sounding board so that I can fix my own situation. You know what I mean? And I try to be like that, more of a coach. I want to be more like that. I strive to be more like that as a coach, to where I'm not there yet. I'm working on that myself.
Yeah.
But to listen and say, what do you think? What do you think's best for you? What do you think you should do in that situation? Yeah. Why do you think that's the way to go? And really that's what we all need more of.
Yeah.
And that kind of friendship and relationship takes tenacity, and it takes patience, and it takes
self-control.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times, you want to say one thing, but that's not what's going to help that person. You were talking about you want to fix people, and that can be your downfall, and it can also be your strength. And mine is the same deal, except it's like I really aspire to be helpful in getting people to realize how important it is to have that time with the Lord every day. And so that's where I can be sometimes, and see, my weakness or my downfall in that could be, I could be very judgmental. But it's also my strength, because I can, if I just listen to people and not come across as I'm holier than them because I do certain things, but to help them to see they can have that same, they can have that. It's all of us, for all believers in Christ, to have that. And the same thing, we all have our thing, and that is my thing. And Because I've had people tell me, Diane, I wish I could pray like you, or I wish I could do that. I said, you can. I mean,
Well, and I have people say to me, Dana, I wish I could be as disciplined as you.
you
And
can.
I'll tell you, you can,
You can.
and you can be more disciplined than me, probably.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I'm not probably as disciplined all the time as I need to be or want to be, or you even think I am. And so, but my whole thing is I want to be real. I want to help people to get real, just like with you and spiritual, having that time with the Lord and really tapping into what God is doing all around us. We all need to be more like that and more aware and more awake. But you're not always that way either. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I think people look at us sometimes and they're like, well, I can never do what you do. And I'm like, yes, you can,
Yeah. Well, it's just like when we started this video before we actually went live. I was just getting in from the grocery store and I hadn't slept but about, a few hours last night. And I just put up groceries and then when I came in and I was trying to get connected to the computer, it wouldn't work. And then my cat was throwing up everywhere. I mean,
and then you didn't like your hair.
And then I didn't like my hair, so I put it behind my ears. So I didn't get another haircut, y'all. I'm just saying. But I mean, we all have those moments. But if I had just stayed stuck in that, then I could have said, Dana, I don't feel like doing this video today. We're just going to not do this. But that wasn't what we had planned to do. I'm committed to it. Once I tell you I'm going to do it, I'm going to try my best to do it. So we go back to that whole thing, just commitment and consistency. And, my dad, our dad, not just mine, he always said, you're only as good as your word. So we need to remember that. We need to be faithful to ourselves. That's a good statement right there, because it's not just faithful to God. It's not just faithful to our spouse or to our friends. It's faithful to ourselves. What we have committed to do, let's be faithful in doing that for ourselves. There, that's it. That's all I got, Dana.
That is a good word, and we'll end on that. And I will tell you that I was sharing with you earlier how my schedule this week has caused me to forget some things, overlook some things, not do some things, forget to check things. It's like, and I have probably let things fall through the crack that are very important that I've been praying about and wanting God to intervene with. And then I don't do my part. And I think let's end on that note, because that's really cool that I just said that, because that is something I think I hear the most struggle with. People are, pray for me. I need help with this or this or this, but then they're not willing to receive information, help, make decisions, and commitment to do the things to really get them there. They're just waiting for God to reach down with his magic wand, zap it all fixed. And that's just not how God works things out always. Not that he can't, but we are active in the work that he's doing, or he's calling us to be active in the work he's doing. So we'll leave it there. So what's God calling you to do? What changes do you need to make? What habits do you need to change? What's different? What do you want different to happen in your life? And what are you willing to do?
That's good.
It's a mindset. So anyway, we're going to leave on that note.
I can't do it. I can't do it like Dana.
I can only do it when I got pink lips.
Okay. I know you're all color coordinated with your pink and your pink.
Again.
All right. Well, we all need some tape.
Bye-bye.
Bye.